So we're going to talk about variations of Guizi tang, the formula which we talked about before that contains the herbs Guizi, Baishao, Shenjiang, Dazhao, and Zigancao, these 5 herbs. The first variation is called Xiao Jiang Zong, and it means Xiao small, Jiao it is to support, and Zong is the middle. And the whole difference from Guizi tang is that we double the amount of Baishao, and the reason for that is because Baishao is good for stomach colic pain. This formula is made for stomach pain which is related to cold. And we also add Yitang, which is a herb that supports the middle jiao and the earth element. So that's the first variation. The second variation I want to talk about is Xiao Qing Long Tang, which is Xiao means small, Qing means indigo color, like Qing Dai, the herb, if you know, and Long means dragon. And this formula is used in situations when we have breathing problems that also have a thin mucus with it, and there is cold in the background, and we have quite hot herbs. So this is actually a combination of Mahuang tang and Guizi tang. So the chief herbs are Mahuang and Guizi, and the minister herbs are Ganjiang and Xixin, which are very warm herbs. Xixin is actually it's hot. And we also have Wu Weizi and Baishao, which are there to protect the yin because we're using herbs which are quite warm. And Banxia is for the phlegm, and Zigancao is as usual to harmonize the whole formula, and also it's a bit of a nourishing herb. So this formula is actually good for situations where we have like asthma and we have cold in the background and we have thin mucus and phlegm. It's important not to use it for too long because it's a warming formula and it can injure the yin. And definitely it doesn't make sense to use it in situations where we have heat or warm pathology. The last variation I want to talk about is Dangwei Sini Tang, which is a formula that is containing the same herbs as Guizi tang, but we are subtracting Shenjiang and we're adding Dangwei and Xixin. And this is a formula which has the same principle of Guizi tang, with the warming and nourishing and moving effect, but not so much related to a situation when there is only a cold injury, but also when we have problems like B syndrome, when we have blockage of the energy. So we want to use herbs like Guizi, which open the meridians, and we also have the herb Mutong there, which urinates and also has the ability to open the channels. So I'll just repeat the herbs. We have Guizi, Baishao, and then we subtract Shenjiang, so it's not there. But we do have Dazhao and Zigancao, and we're adding Dangwei, Xixin, and Mutong. So Dangwei is there to nourish the blood, and also it's a moving herb. The category is herbs that tonify the blood, but it also has the ability to move. And if you remember, we have Dangwei Wei, which is the tail of the root, which is even more moving. And we have Xixin, which is a warm herb. We talked about it in the recent formula. It's very warm and it's good for opening the blockage of cold in the meridians. And Mutong is there to urinate out any dampness or cold, and also to open the passages. When I mean urinate, I'm referring more to dampness. We don't usually urinate cold, but when we're cold, there's frequent urine, and that's why we use yang tonifiers, but that's a different story. So those are the 3 variations we've talked about, and Guizi tang is definitely a formula that I would recommend looking into in depth and understanding the mechanism and the way of thought that Zhang Zhongjin used in the Shan Han Lun when he was talking about this formula. There are many more variations, but it's just beautiful to see how by adding and subtracting herbs we can use this structure in other categories like warming the interior with it, or even dealing with situations where we have internal disease like asthma, which is more profound, just by adding and subtracting a few herbs. And that's the beauty of Chinese medicine and the deep understanding. So if you have any more insights about this formula, I really would be happy to see your comments down below. And I think it's a great opportunity to learn from one another. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.